Have you ever felt like you're living someone else's version of your life? Like every decision you've made wasn't really yours? This is the story of Daniel, a 25-year-old who thought he had everything figured out until he realized he was living a life he never chose. His journey might just help you rethink your own. Daniel was 25, and by all accounts, he had his life together. A steady job at a marketing firm, a decent apartment in the city, and weekends filled with brunches and movie marathons. But deep down, Daniel felt like he was suffocating. Every day felt like a rerun of the one before. Wake up, work, scroll social media, repeat. One night, Daniel sat on his couch scrolling through social media. His feed was full of people traveling the world, starting businesses, living their dreams. And then there was him, trapped in a loop he couldn't break. Is this it? Is this all I'm supposed to do? He thought, staring at his screen until it blurred. The next day at work, Daniel's boss handed him a new project. "This will be great for your career," she said with a smile. Daniel nodded, but inside he felt a familiar emptiness. The words "great for your career" rang hollow. What career? Is this even what I want to do? That night, as he lay in bed, he couldn't stop thinking about his high school art teacher. Back then, painting was his passion. He'd once shown his teacher a piece he'd worked on for weeks, a vibrant, chaotic blend of colors. She'd looked at him and said, "You have something special, Daniel. Don't let the world bury it under its expectations." But that's exactly what had happened. When was the last time he'd even held a paintbrush? The following Saturday, Daniel found himself standing in an art supply store. He felt out of place, unsure if he even belonged there anymore. Still, he bought a small set of paints and brushes. At home, he set up a makeshift studio in the corner of his living room and hesitantly started painting. It wasn't perfect, in fact, it was a mess. But for the first time in years, Daniel felt alive. The colors on the canvas reflected something he hadn't felt in a long time: freedom. As weeks passed, Daniel made other changes. He turned off notifications on his phone and stopped endlessly scrolling through social media. He began saying no to projects at work that didn't excite him. And when he reached out to an old friend who ran a small art collective, they invited him to join. It became his sanctuary, a place where he could breathe and create without judgment. A month later, the art collective held an open mic night. Daniel brought one of his paintings, a chaotic, emotional piece that reflected how trapped he'd felt. Standing in front of the audience, he nervously shared his story. He talked about feeling stuck, about rediscovering his passion, and about taking small steps to reclaim his life. As he spoke, he saw heads nodding in the crowd. People understood. They'd been there too. After the event, a woman approached him. "Your story hit me," she said. "I've been stuck in a job I hate for years, but I've been too scared to change. Maybe it's time I try." Her words stayed with Daniel. He realized this journey wasn't just about him breaking free. It was about showing others that they could too. Today, Daniel's life isn't perfect, but it's his. He still works at the marketing firm, but now he makes time for his art. He sold a few pieces online and even started teaching painting workshops at the collective. Each brushstroke feels like a step closer to the person he used to be and the person he's becoming. Breaking free didn't mean quitting his job or running away. It meant asking himself, what do I really want, and taking small, deliberate steps toward that answer. If Daniel's story resonates with you, share one thing you'd do if fear or expectations weren't holding you back. Let's talk about it in the comments, because sometimes the first step to freedom is as simple as picking up a brush or letting it out of your system.